Hi all and welcome back to my channel. I am Teenie Crochets and today I'll be showing you how to crochet Captain America. So for a link to the written pattern and all the items you'll need, check the description box below, and other than that, get your crochet hooks at the ready and let's get going.
So I'm going to start with his legs. With brown DK yarn and a 3.5mm hook, I'm going to slip knot onto my hook and I'm going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now into the second chain from hook, not the first chain, the second chain, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. And now I'm going to single crochet into each of the next 3 chains. So 3 single crochets, so 1, 2 and 3. And into the last chain of this round, I'm going to do 3 single crochets all into that 1 chain space. So 1, 2 and 3. And then 3 single crochets are going to help me turn my work so I can begin to work down the opposite side of our foundation chain. So now I'm going to single crochet into the next 3 spaces. 1, 2 and 3. And into the last chain, which was the first stitch of the previous round, I'm going to do 2 single crochets into that same space. 1 and 2. And there we have 12 single crochets working in the round. For our next round, we want to increase to 18 stitches. To do this, into the first stitch of the next round, I'm going to do 2 single crochets all into that 1 space. 1 and 2. Now I'm going to single crochet across 3 stitches, so 3 single crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Into the next 3 chain space, into the next 3 stitches even, I'm going to do 2 single crochets into every stitch. So 2 single crochets into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2 into the first stitch. 1 and 2 into the second stitch. 1 and 2 into the third stitch. Now I'm going to single crochet across the next 3 stitches. 1, 2 and 3. And into the next 2 stitches, which is the last 2 stitches of this round, I'm going to do 2 single crochets into each of them. So 1 and 2 into the first stitch. 1 and 2 into the second stitch. So we now have 18 single crochets, and for our next round we want to single crochet around these 18 stitches, but we only want to go into the back loop of each stitch. So every stitch has 2 loops. It has one at the front and one at the back, and they look like a V. For this round we're going to go under the back leg, or the back V leg of each stitch. So there are 2 stitches or 2 loops to this stitch, and I'm only going to go under the back loop. So I'm going to do 18 single crochets in the back loop only. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. And now for 2 rounds we're going to single crochet around these 18 stitches again, but we're going to go through both of the loops. So 2 rounds of single crochet. Next we're going to do a decrease round. So we currently have 18 stitches, and on our next round we want to decrease to 14 stitches. To do that, I'm going to single crochet into 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now I'm going to single crochet 2 stitches together 4 times. So to single crochet 2 stitches together, I'm going to take my hook and insert it under the front loop only of the first stitch. Then take my loop straight under the front loop only of the second stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, so there are 2 loops remaining on my hook, yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So we've just single crocheted 2 stitches together, and we're going to do that another 3 times. So let's decrease for the second time. Let's do that one again. So decrease for the second time, decrease for the third time, and decrease for the fourth. And now to finish this row, or this round, I'm going to single crochet 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. For the next round, we want to decrease to 12 stitches. So to do that, we're going to single crochet into the first 5 stitches again. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together, and we're going to do that twice. So single crochet 2 stitches together once, just the way we did it before, and single crochet 2 stitches together twice. And now to finish this round, I'm going to single crochet 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we've now made Captain America's foot, and we're going to continue with the rest of his boot now, because this will obviously be the bottom of his boot. So I'm going to do 10 rounds of single crochet in brown. So I'm going to single around these 12 stitches for 10 rows, and I shall meet you back when I'm done. After the last round is complete, I'm going to slip knot to join, or slip stitch to join, and then I'm going to fasten off with my work, or with this brown colour, and pull tight so it doesn't unravel. So next we're going to change colours, and we're going to change to our navy DK yarn. To join this yarn, I'm going to do a slip stitch, a slip knot, I'm always getting them confused, a slip knot onto my hook. I'm then going to insert my hook into a stitch at the back of my work, can yarn over with the new colour, the blue, and pull up a loop. So I have 2 loops on my hook. I'm then going to yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So I have done my first single crochet, and I've also attached the blue yarn at the same time. So now I'm going to do 10 rounds of single crochet in blue. So once I finish these 10 rounds, I'll be back again to show you what to do next. Okie doke. So after our 10 rounds of blue, I'm going to pull up a loop so that I don't lose my place. And I am now going to stuff this leg. So with some polyfill, the polyfill of your choice, or yarn tails, you're going to stuff the leg and mould it into shape.
Don't forget to click that subscribe button and to turn on channel notifications now, so that you can have your say in what crochet tutorials I do next.
Okie doke, so there we go. So if this is the first leg that you've made, you can actually cut the yarn at this point, but this is the second leg that I've made because I've already made one earlier. So I'm going to leave the yarn attached because I'll use this yarn to join the 2 legs together. So the legs will be joined something like this. So as you can see, the starting point of my yarn at the moment is at the back of the leg. So what I want to do is move the starting point to the side of my work, so that it's in the centremost stitch at the left side of the leg, so that I can chain across and join to the first leg. To do that, I'm going to do a couple of extra single crochets, so I'm going to start with 3, so let's have a look. So 1, 2 and 3, and that takes me over to the left hand side of my work. Now I'm going to do 1 slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1 loosely and pick up the first leg that I made. Now on the right side of this leg and in the centre stitch at the top of the right side, I'm going to slip stitch into that stitch. And that has created the bridge or the connecting chains that will connect the 2 legs together and allow me to make the body. So on this leg, the first leg, I've slip stitched into one of the stitches, and that leaves 11 stitches remaining. So I'm going to single crochet around these 11 stitches, not including the slip stitch. So 11 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. We're now going to single crochet into 1/2 of the chain 1 space we made. So 1 single crochet into the chain 1 space. And now for the next leg, we slip stitch and chained 1 out of one of the stitches. We're no longer going to use that stitch, which leaves 11 single crochets or 11 stitches around this leg. So now I'm going to single crochet 11 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. And now I'm going to single crochet into the other half of that chain 1 stitch we made. There we go. So we now have 24 stitches. We have 11 stitches from each leg, which makes 22 stitches, and then we've single crocheted into both sides of this chain 1 space, which makes 24. So 11, 11 and 2. So we have 24 stitches, and next I'm going to single crochet around these 24 stitches for 5 rows. So 5 rounds of single crochet, and I shall meet you back here when I'm done. And after the 5th round, we're going to slip stitch to join, and we can fasten off with our bloom. So Captain America's belt is made using red and white yarn, and it alternates in colours all the way around. So to do that for our doll, we currently have 24 stitches, and I'm going to do 4 stitches of red and 4 stitches of white and alternate them all the way around to make his belt, and we're going to do that for a couple of rows. Now, with colour changing work, when you're colour changing so frequently, we don't want to keep cutting the yarn at the end of each colour chain, at the end of each colour. So we're going to use a technique called Tapestry crochet, which allows us to hold the non-working yarn, so the yarn that we're not using, in the back of our work until we need it. So I'll try and show you what I mean by that. So with my red yarn, I'm going to join as normal, so I'm going to slip knot onto hook, and I'm going to insert my hook into stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, so there are 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through both of these loops. So I have attached the red yarn, and I've also done my first single crochet in red. Now we need a total of 4 red stitches, and I've already done 1. So I'm going to do another 2 stitches of red, 1 and 2, which leaves a total of 3 single crochets. So we need to do 1 more stitch in red, but during this stitch I'm going to introduce the second colour we'll be using, which is the white. So on the last stitch of each segment, this is what you will do. So we're going to insert my hook into the last stitch of red, yarn over and pull up a loop, so there are 2 red loops on my hook. I'm now going to pick up my second colour, which will be white. I'm going to make a loop and leave about a 4-inch tail, pop the loop onto the hook and pull the white yarn through the red. So we've completed the last red stitch with our white yarn. It still leaves 4 single crochets in red, but it's just going to make the transitions between colours a little bit neater. Now with our non-working yarn, so we're not working with the red anymore, but we will need it again soon, we're going to hold that in the back of our work, and as we single crochet in white and we insert our hook through the stitches, we're going to encase the red yarn with the colour that we're working with. So we're just going to hold that second colour behind our work. I'm also going to single crochet or weave in this white yarn tail just for a couple of stitches to secure it into place. So for the time being, I'm going to hold the red yarn, the non-working yarn, and the white tail in the back of the work. And I'm going to hold the working yarn in front so I can do the next 4 stitches of white. So now I'm going to do 4 single crochets in white. 1, 2, and 3. And at this point I'm going to drop that yarn tail that we were weaving in, because that's weaved in now. And on the 4th stitch we're going to swap colours again. So I'm going to insert my hook into the 4th stitch, yarn over in white and pull up a loop. So there are 2 loops on my hook in white, and we want to change back to red. So I'm going to drop the white yarn and I'm going to pick up the red yarn. I'm going to hold the white yarn now in the back of my work like I did with the red. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull the red yarn through both of the loops on my hook. And now it's time to single crochet 4 in red. So 1, 2, 3, and now we're up to the last stitch. And if you can see, I keep pulling this yarn so it's not so loose in the back. So just give that a little pull each time. And if you turn the work over, you can vaguely see the white marks behind the stitches. So I'm up to the last stitch of red for this segment. So I'm going to insert my hook into stitch, yarn over and pull through, so there are 2 loops on my hook. Now we're going to switch yarn again, pick up white as the working colour, hold the red in the back of the work, and finish the 4th red stitch off with the white. Now it's time to single crochet 4 in white. 1, 2, and 3. Give the red yarn a little tug in the back to make sure it's nice and tight. And now it's time in the 4th stitch of white to return back to red. So I hope you're getting the gist of what I'm trying to say here, because it's a little bit complicated to explain. So with my white yarn, I'm going to do half the stitch, and then I'm going to switch back to the red colour, hold the white in the back of the work, yarn over and complete that last stitch in red. Now it's 4 stitches in red, and we're holding the white yarn in the back of our work nice and tight again. So 4 stitches, 1, 2, and 3. Check that white yarn. Oh, hi Sams. We've got the white. Check that white yarn is pulled tight in the back of the work. Sorry, cat, get out the way. I know, you're beautiful, but you have to sit over there. Move, move, move. Okay, so 1, 2. We're up to our last, the 4th stitch of red. Insert our hook into the last stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Switch back to white and finish the stitch off in white. Complete 4 stitches in white. 1, 2, 3, and on the last stitch we're going to switch back to red. There we go. So we've done a round, changing our colour every 4 stitches between red and white, and we finished with our red yarn ready to go for our next round. So we're going to repeat the last round for another 4 rows. So we've got the red yarn ready to go, working on my hook, and we're going to begin the next round with another 4 red single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to do the colour change on the 4th stitch. So finish the 4th stitch with white, and now 4 single crochets in white. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Complete this stitch with the red. Make sure to keep pulling this yarn in the back to keep it nice and tight. So 4 stitches in red. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Complete this stitch with white. Oh, complete this stitch with white. 4 single crochets in white. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Complete this stitch in red. 4 single crochets in red. 1, 2, 3, 4, switch back to white and finish the last segment of this round in white of 4 stitches in white. 1, 2, 3 and the last stitch of this round, change back to red. So the first round tends to be the hardest round because you've got all the yarn tails and you're introducing the new white yarn. It's not already set up. So that round was a lot more easier than the first round and it was a lot less messy. So we're going to repeat the last round again for one more row and then his belt's complete. So with red we're going to do 4 stitches in red. White yarn still in the back of the way. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Complete this with white. 4 stitches of white. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Complete with red. 4 single crochets in red. 1, 2, 3, 4. Complete this stitch in white. 4 single crochets in white. 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet, or finish the stitch in red. Now 4 single crochets in red. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Finish this stitch with white. Nearly there. And our last 4 stitches of white. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I'm going to finish this last stitch with the white yarn because I'm not going to switch back to red after this one. And then I can slip stitch in the next stitch to join and fasten off. And now I can cut both of these yarn tails and pull through them. And that is Captain America's belt made. And I know it's a little bit tricky, and if you keep doing it wrong, keep unraveling, keep frogging your work, pulling it back out until you're happy with how it looks. So that was 3 rounds of tapestry crochet, and the reason it tends to pull off to the right is because I'm right-handed, so you tend to pull the yarn this way, and it's unconscious and it's a small pull, but time after time doing it makes your work pull that way. If I was left-handed, the seams go the opposite way. So there is a way to counteract this, but with it only being 3 rows, I didn't really need to. So onto his body.
My Etsy store is finally set up, so if you're interested in purchasing either one of my homemade stuffed toys or getting your hands on a copy of one of my most popular patterns, then click the link down below in the description box, and if you use the code YTS20 you'll get 20% off your order.